The energy released by seismic explosives underground is used to search for oil and gas. When explosives are used correctly in seismic exploration, they are valuable tools. The explosion underground sends out acoustic waves, and these waves reflect off beds of rock far below the source point. This provides important information to geophysicists, which they use to identify favorable formations that may trap oil or natural gas. A valuable job, but you, on the seismic party, are even more valuable. The energy from explosives can injure or kill. So, for your protection and the protection of your friends and colleagues on the crew, think about safety. You need to know how to safely transport, store, handle, and use explosives for seismic exploration. Be familiar with the regulations of the country in which you are working, as well as your own company's policies, and comply with them. By educating yourself, following the regulations, and using good common sense, you can prevent all incidents. With explosives, there's never a second chance to do the right thing the right way the first time. All incidents are preventable. Seismic explosives are manufactured to exact specifications, so our products will perform properly to do the constructive work they were made to do when they were delivered to you. Cases of all commercial explosives contain printed Institute of Makers of Explosives, or IME, instructions and warning inserts. Anyone handling explosives must read and become familiar with these always and nevers packaged in every case of explosives.
All right, this morning's topic is going to be explosive safety.
Best practices require daily tailgate safety meetings with all crew members to review these always and nevers to ensure the safe transport, storage, handling, and use of explosives. Specific attention should be paid to the information provided by the manufacturer on their technical and safety data sheets, so all are familiar with their attributes. When delivered, explosives must be locked in specially constructed, fire and bullet-resistant storage magazines, which must be built in accordance with regulations provided by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, or BATF, National Resources Canada, NRCan, or agencies of the country in which you are working. In the presence of different or stricter state or provisional requirements, the strictest laws and regulations will apply. All explosive storage magazines must have a strong and secure locking system, so only authorized seismic workers have access. The magazines must be kept closed and locked, except when explosives are being put into or removed from storage. Magazine rules should be posted prominently, and these rules must be followed by all personnel with access to explosives magazines. Explosive storage magazines must be placed away from occupied buildings. Check the IME American Table of Distances or NRCan for legal requirements. Danger signs must be placed around the perimeter of the magazine, as well as at the entrance to the magazine area and on nearby roads and trails. The placement of these signs must follow the guidelines of the agencies involved. Check the regulations. Post the signs recommended by the IME, which warn that no one should fight explosives fires anytime, anywhere. A wooden structure like this one can't stop a bullet, so we'll show you what would happen if the just 10 pounds of explosives being stored here detonated. You and your co-workers wouldn't want to be near this building when it blew, and it only had 10 pounds of explosives inside. Now it's just splinters. All countries, including U.S. federal law, require that an inventory document accounting for all explosives be maintained. Explosives in and out of transactions must be logged daily on a permanent explosives inventory record to make sure explosives stay in the right hands. Report any theft or loss of explosives to your party manager immediately. Smoking and matches are never allowed near explosives. And remember, keep flammable materials like cardboard boxes 25 feet away from all explosives to be safe. Later, we will properly dispose of those materials. Every truck used to transport explosives from the temporary storage magazine to the shot point must be fully compliant with all transportation regulations, typically Department of Transportation issued, and Institute of Makers of Explosives, IME, recommendations. These trucks must display proper warning signs as well as carry fire extinguishers. At the end of the workday, these same trucks will return any unused explosives to the magazine, where they can be stored safely until needed again. The inventory record must reflect the addition of this returned product to the magazine. So why take all these precautions when you only have a short distance to go in the field? And a few pounds of seismic explosives? What's wrong with throwing it in the back of a truck and driving to a drill rig? When you haul explosives, there are no acceptable shortcuts and no trucks will just get by. This truck had just 15 pounds of seismic explosives in the back. The workers drilling the charge hole and handling the explosives must be aware of and follow all safety precautions. Never use explosive materials unless you're completely familiar with safety procedures and are using them under the direction of a qualified supervisor. Incidents can be avoided when procedures are followed and workers respect these potentially dangerous materials. Here is an example of what not to do. This home video caught two workers in what could have been a deadly situation. As you can see, they've loaded the detonators into the cartridges. The lead wires go up to the spools, which are resting right on the drill rig. Stray electric current discharge from the rig could have blasted them out of this picture. For instance, here's a never. When loading the borehole, never place any part of your body over the hole. If you drop the explosive column down the borehole, it could detonate. To show you what could happen, this dummy will lean over this hole as a charge explodes. After years on the job, you can get complacent, but this mannequin could be you if you're not careful. Never drop explosive charges into the hole. Always use rope or twine to carefully lower the explosive's charge. Here are some things not to do out in the field. Never cut, take apart, or alter any seismic explosive charge. Never detonate explosives in congested areas or close to highways, railroad, or power lines. Never put the detonator in the cartridge until just before you're ready to load the borehole. Never tamp violently or use excessive force. Never connect seismic detonator wires to the power source until you're ready to test or fire. Keep them shunted. Never load boreholes near electric power lines, and never use seismic detonators if static electricity is present, such as during dust storms or a blowing snowstorm. If an electrical storm approaches, stop and clear the area. Seismic detonators are also sensitive to radio frequency energy and cell phone signals. Never use any wireless communication device near loading operations. Refer to the IME Safety Library publication number 20 for guidance. Remember, never use any kind of mobile phone near seismic detonators. Never mix seismic detonators of different types or manufacturers in a circuit. Never approach explosive material thrown out of a borehole following an explosion until you're sure it's not burning. Never handle, transport, or use explosives while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. When safety precautions are followed and the job is done right, the rewards are many. After the explosives are in the ground and safely wired up, the cables are laid out. The geophones are securely set in the ground. It's time for your hard work to pay off. When all other personnel are out of the area, the shooter ties together the shot cables. The previously shunted firing line is connected, and there's a final check to be sure that the shot point is hot. This video hasn't covered all aspects of safety with explosives, so educate yourself, follow the regulations, and if you don't know, ask your supervisor. Challenge any unsafe acts or conditions in the field and eliminate them. Remember, educate yourself before handling any explosives and use your common sense. Zero harm is our goal. Everyone should leave work in the same condition as when they arrived, because with explosives, there is never a second chance to do the right thing the right way the first time.